I'm calling from Los Angeles, and I'm having a little problem under the name ThatUmbrellaGuy. I sent him my phone number at least 20 times in the chat and told him to call me. He ignored me, or I'm a man. I filed the report. If you guys could take a look at it and give me a call back, I would love to hear what you guys can do to help us. We really need to kind of stop this guy at least until Monday. I told him to call me, or I'm a man.
Welcome to the Ham Rack. Step into a Titan. Volume 4. Enter DUI guy. DUI guy steps up and bang. That thumbnail lawsuit falls and returns like a boomerang. It's boom, the career ender. DOA, call a medic, it's return threat to sender. Send COA, that's cash on arrival. And now it's please judge, no chance for survival. They called it fraud, conspiracy, saying silly lawyer. Sanctions don't apply to me. But it all falls down and now they're staring at the bill, pleading, oh please Larry, this can't be real. But did you forget what it's all about? Cause even after suing you were offered an out. Now it's medical issues and excuses. I've got cataracts, my back, my health is poor. I didn't even write the thing. Well, your health wasn't too poor to act as a puppet lawyer for months, was it? Was it? Really, was it? So take your refile the lawsuit, but somehow they're doing this for content. My dog ate my homework, excuse and pay up. And listen close, just in case you missed it. That's a mic drop and a career delisted. And that's for excuses. Yeah, we told you so. And now, well, I guess you know no. Yeah, you really do know no. You really do know no. DUI guy is back.
I saw you cracking up backstage. Larry was cracking up. Oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever seen. He was looking super bored for a minute there. He was looking super bored. Larry was like this backstage.
Yeah, he was just sitting there like, yeah, okay, intro.
I was like,
oh yeah, this is gonna be good.
That was the best. I was not ready. I know Tug said there was gonna be like some surprise, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. And now I get it.
Oh yeah, man, you're back, dude. I had to kick off the boot with the bang.
Larry's back. Oh my god, you guys! I missed you guys so much. I mean, I saw Megan just a couple weeks ago, but I haven't seen you, Tug, and I don't know how long. It feels like forever.
It is, man. It has been a minute, like a real minute, dude.
For real.
We've missed you too. It's been less fun without you. It's been a little bit more boring without Larry around. But you're back, and look at you. You have this great new office. I can't wait till the bookshelves get there. Do you have built-ins coming, or are you buying bookshelves? What's going on with the decor?
So I bought a bookshelf from the Amish. They're custom making it. It should be out of production in like 2 weeks, I think they said, February 14th-ish, like Valentine's Day, around Valentine's Day. And I'll be putting it in. Obviously, it'll be right behind me. And this is like, people keep saying it's my office. It's actually just my studio. Like, my office is upstairs. I separated the two. I now have like I love this place because recording it's already becoming so much more fun. All I have to do is go downstairs, push a couple of buttons, and boom, like I can create a video. Because in the past I had to like reorganize things. I had to put the camera, put the lights, turn the lights, then at the end put them away, like.
Yeah, no, it's the dream to have an actual studio. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in a corner. I'm tucked in a corner.
I have all these problems with lights.
Husband's dresser.
Trust me, I know. I've done that for like 4 years, but that's it. It's time for an upgrade. I'm done.
Yeah, I gotta have kids move out of the house first. One of them's close.
One of them's close.
She just turned 19, so one of these days it's happening at some point, right? Yeah. Maybe.
Yes, it will. It will happen.
I'm sure you've had a busy time on the lawsuit front. It's been kind of fascinating as of late.
Really? I haven't been paying attention. Yeah, it certainly has been. One of my favorite things about this lawsuit is that when they filed the dismissal. So I already talked about this, but I wanna share it with your audience too, because they're gonna love this part. In November, I got a message from Randy that Scott wants to talk to me about settling the case. It took him 5 weeks. The long and short of it is, it took him 5 weeks to finally schedule the settlement conference. And it's funny because when I reached out, I tried to schedule it same day. They're like, no, we'll get, we'll reach out to you. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And then 5 weeks later, like the morning of, they're like, hey, are you available at 4 p.m. today for a settlement conference? And I'm like, sure. I mean, a little bit of advance notice would have been nice. I have 6 hours between now and the settlement conference. But yes, sure, I'll make myself available. And we had the whole conversation, and I kind of was, leading Bruce on. Megan knows a lot more than I'm giving you guys credit for. But there's a lot of stuff I can't share. But anyway, the long and short of it is, on settlement conference day, we had an agreement, but the agreement doesn't go into effect until I make the move. Like I make the requested change that I was asked to do. And of course I was never going to make it. So Bruce, thinking that, I'm just going to follow up on, whatever agreement.
Well, wait, they never sent you an agreement, a settlement agreement to sign?
No.
That seems like a risky move. So wait, this excellent lawyer had a settlement conference with you and thought he had an agreement, but failed to get it signed?
He never drafted it.
Okay, just checking. Just checking.
As far as I know, I mean, if you draft it, I assume you would send it.
I would assume.
He sent me an email. In his defense, he sent me an email saying, do this. And I said, and in exchange, and in exchange, we'll dismiss the lawsuit against you. And I was like, okay. And I just let it marinate. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, but normally in a settlement agreement, you would have it written down. I've been through this before. I've had a settlement before. They write it down. You cross things out. You make your changes, and then they write it up again, and everyone signs it.
Yep.
Then you go do the thing. But that wasn't.
That never happened. There was no agreement. There were no signatures. And
top shelf lawyering.
Even if he had sent the agreement, obviously I would have never signed it because I had an ulterior motive. Yeah. Unfortunately for me, and for Bruce, fortunately for Bruce and for him, there was no agreement. The agreement never came to fruition, and my devious plan unfortunately never came into fruition either. Because, but this is how I knew that they drafted an agreement ready to dismiss the case just against me, because the day after Christmas, when they filed the dismissals of the lawsuit, they filed 2 separate documents. The first document was just a dismissal against Larry Foreman, the defendant, and then right next to it, they filed the dismissal of everybody else. DJ Radis and Jeremy and George. So I knew that they had that they had it prepared.
Can you talk about why that's significant, that it was deliberately drawn up for you first? Is that something you can talk about, or maybe not?
I think I can talk about it now. Our suspicion was that if I settle for nothing, meaning for nothing, then Bruce, aka Stark, can go to court and say, Your Honor, well, one of the defendants, a prominent lawyer from Kentucky, and the second biggest defendant in this lawsuit or whatever, has agreed to settle. And they can lie to the court openly, but it's not a lie. They can say he settled and he, paid. Now, how did I pay? Maybe I didn't pay financially. They can use the word pay. I paid by taking some action, right? Because a contract cannot exist without offer acceptance consideration. Those of you law school aficionados or law students or just people who understand the basic terms of a contract, you need to have an offer. It needs to be accepted, and you have to have some sort of consideration. You can't just be like, hey, I'll give you this pen. Okay, thank you. That's not a contract. I'll give you this pen if you spit on the ground. Okay, I spit on the ground. Now I get the pen. That's a contract. The consideration is you spitting on the ground. So in this case, if you change some of the thumbnails, we'll agree to dismiss the lawsuit against you. But I never changed the thumbnails. Therefore, the contract never existed. There is no contract.
Right.
So,
so the value in it to them, though, is to say this lawsuit has merit because
exactly.
Look, this attorney, he settled.
Exactly. And they could have used my settlement now against Jeremy and George, basically pinning us against each other and saying, well, he settled. Now these need to pay up. The motion for summary judgment should get denied, Your Honor. And you know what? There's a universe where a judge would look at it and go, you have a good point. The lawsuit stays. I'm going to allow it to move forward because clearly it has merit because
somebody settled.
Somebody settled. Exactly.
I think you're right about that strategy.
That's devious, man. That's some devious shit there.
Yeah. No, it smelled rotten from the get-go, and I picked up on it. And I love how Bruce, the entire conversation, tried to become friends with me during the settlement conference. It was not a settlement conference. It was a, hey man, listen, you're in the wrong group. You need to stop hanging around these guys. They're not good for you. Come on, you're better than that. Come join the good group. This is us. We're the good guys here.
I'm the good guy, the guy who sued you.
Yes, he sued
the guy
me.
who vexatiously sued you is stroking your ego.
A lot of open smack, man.
Where's your brain, bro? Did you leave it at home that morning? What is wrong with you?
I think you told me, I think one of the things you told me about something he said really made me laugh, which was him stroking your ego and saying things like, you have a very bright future. Thank you for that. Thank you for telling me I have a bright future. You who tried to sue me and derail my career and take down my YouTube channel. And thank you for telling me I have a bright future, Bruce.
It's so condescending too, way to go, Sparky. You're doing great out there.
yeah.
I know. He's just he's like a father figure I never asked for.
Yeah, that's the prize you win when you go to hell. You get there.
Come here, son.
Yes. Yes, exactly that. Okay, so I heard you talking about the phone call when you were talking to Jeremy. My question is this: it sounded like the only interaction you had with Stark was him saying hello and goodbye and patching you through to Bruce. So is that normal? Is that something that you would normally encounter when lead counsel is supposed to be Scott Stark, but you are not speaking to him in a settlement conference and you're speaking to some other guy from some other state who's not entered in the case as part of, he hasn't announced to the court, is he supposed to, that he's part of this case?
No, it's definitely abnormal. I mean, look, nothing about this whole situation ever made any sense. It's bottom of the barrel lawyers trying to scrape together a lawsuit against, even if we were just YouTubers, and let's say I was not an attorney and you guys were not, informed about the law, it would still be a really terrible move. I don't understand what the end goal was to begin with, other than two things which we now know are 100% clear, and this is from Jeremy himself. Number one, they wanted attention and publicity for their own crap, basically. So if you're not willing to bring us on your channel to talk about it,
mac and cheese,
we will mac and cheese our way into your life, whether you like it or not.
We will force the macaroni and cheese down your throat and up your ass any way we possibly can.
That's number one. Number two, and Jeremy said it beautifully earlier today, I didn't even think about it. He said, it's scammers scamming other scammers. And I didn't even think about it. And actually, it took me a second after we were done. I was like, wait a minute, that phrase is actually way deeper than I anticipated. Because Bruce is an open scammer. Scott Stark, I think he has his own. Look, he's got health issues. I'm not going to shit on the guy just because, he's involved in all this. Because I think Scott, of all people, he has the most innocence in all this. Honestly, I will give credit where credit is due, and I don't hate on people just for no reason. Like you have to find, for me personally, you have to give me reason to hate on you. And Bruce, I have tons of reasons, and Lynette and whatever. But Scott is just an idiot. He's just stupid.
He's kind of a sympathetic character because
he got involved in something that he shouldn't have gotten involved in. He got involved in a case that he does not belong in. He has no idea what he's doing. He's just he was promised the moon and he's not getting it, and now he doesn't know what to do. So the second part is scammers scamming scammers. Is Bruce is basically bringing attention and money to how many $50,000 have been given to Lynette directly and indirectly so far?
We don't even know. There's no way to tell.
The totals, I mean,
there's no way to tell. They're
there's
not
no way to
transparent.
tell. I mean, there's been some,
There are people who say they've given. We know one person gave $7,000 at once. I thought that was supposed to go for Silverman, but then he didn't try the case, so we don't know where that went. Then somebody else gave. There are reports that people gave $3,000 to $10,000. But there's no transparency, so there's no way to tell because the people raising the money refuse to say how much they raised and what it was used for. So there's no.
In fact, they've attacked donors for asking questions. So it's been wild to see that.
Yeah.
One guy asked for his money back, and he was told to go pound sand. And he asked for transparency, and again, they just were like, "We'll just block you from stuff." They're not being transparent. So we can't tell you how much she's raised, but there seems to be quite a lot of money flowing in through the ecosystem, but it's not transparent on how it's being spent. They say fence, they say Christmas, they say Amazon list, but there's no way to track it.
No. And I wonder if the donor that got shafted, if they have any recourse, and if so, how?
Well, he does because he paid through PayPal. So if he wanted to, he could go to PayPal and say it was a fraudulent scam charge, and they would give it back.
Will take his side because they
will
side of the consumer.
Wouldn't really any of these people out there though? I mean, you have all these people, any of them that decide to ask for transparency. If they're denied transparency, they refuse any public transparency. There are apparently backroom communications, but some of that hasn't been enough. So I'm sure there's a few other jilted donors as well.
There's got to be. They have to be. We'll see. I mean, it's funny because they were so happy riding this gravy train for the last 4, 5, 6 months, and now it's coming to a halt and they don't know what to do.
Okay, so that brings me to my next question. So we have heard today that the motion to postpone or whatever continue has been granted now. The second time that he put it in, because he put it in wrong the first time and he forgot to put his certificate of conference or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he put it in again, and the judge said, okay, because most judges are, they're not going to question you on your medical stuff. Okay. When we don't know what he's doing. So the judge is always going to defer to the lawyer if he's got something going on. Bruce, though, is acting like this is the biggest win that he's ever had. He's out there. He is.
But it is. It is the biggest win he's ever had. It's a continuance.
But it's a continuance. What kind of a win is a continuance exactly? If we're just kicking the can down the road, he's still going to have to stand in front of a judge and explain. Scott Stark is going to have to stand in front of the judge and explain what happened here.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
it's not a win.
Where's the win?
The only thing that it wins him is that he gets to milk it for an extra 2.5 months than he would not have otherwise.
Did the judge set the date in April or just say it was continued until April?
April 16th at 2 p.m.
It's the day after my birthday. Okay.
Yes, Larry, do you celebrate continuances? Are you like, yes, major victory?
Yes, continuance.
Well, okay. Now that you bring it up as a question like that, I will say that yes, sometimes you do celebrate continuances, but maybe not to the extent you're thinking. But I'll give you a prime example, okay? Let's say client calls me today. They say, Larry, I have a jury trial on Friday, 2 days from now. And I know nothing about the case. Brand new client off the street. Their case has been going on for 2 years. My lawyer's not doing anything for me. You'd be amazed how many calls like that I receive. My lawyer's not doing anything for me. I don't know what to do. Can you please help me? I'm like, okay, I'll charge you this much. We'll go to trial on your behalf. They'll say, okay, here's my money. Do what you got to do. I go, thank you. Tomorrow, the day before the trial, I would file a motion to continue. I would explain to the court, Your Honor, I am coming in at the 11th hour. Were retained yesterday. I know nothing about the case. I don't have the discovery. All I know are like the basic facts. I need more time to prepare. The judge is 100 times out of 100 is going to give us a continuance, unless it's like a Sarah Boone situation where it's like the 11th lawyer coming in at the 11th hour. And they're like, okay, no, I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore. That's like an exception to an exception to an exception. But as a rule, if they give me that continuance, of course, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy for the client. I did a service for the client. They're not going to trial tomorrow with a lawyer who has no idea what's going on. So yeah, there are mild celebrations to continuances because in the best, you're acting in the best interests of the client. So trying to put myself in Bruce's shoes, he knew that the anvil was falling down, next Wednesday. He delayed. The anvil is going to stand for another, 8 weeks or whatever.
Well, what can happen between now and then that will stop the anvil from falling on his head?
Nothing. I mean, they're probably going to try some stuff, but there is nothing that can stop the inevitable. It's the whole, Batman.
It's going to be heard. Your motion is going to be heard.
Unstoppable force meets a movable object. He thinks he's an immovable object and we're just never going to meet. Like we'll never be able to, but we are. It's just a question of when.
Of when,
Right.
yeah. And it's not like Judge Davis is going to put up with yet another continuance. Like you can't keep doing this.
No,
Scott can't come up with like, well, now I have bone spurs, and so those have to be taken care of on April 16th.
Don't give him ideas.
No, I really
scurvy.
I hope his cataract surgery goes well, and I want him to be healthy and well. And nobody wants anybody.
Yeah, you want to see him this coming for sure. I really do want him. 100%. I do want him to see it coming.
I want him to see it coming.
Yeah,
That was a good one, Doug.
You did actually DUI guy. I remember you, man. You were like, hey, if you continue this way, you can drop this. I mean, you did say that. You made a video. I know I covered it. I was like, oh yeah. And you said, if you go this way, there will be consequences.
And yet when he was asked in the deposition, why did you wait the 21 days before dropping the motion? What was his answer, Larry?
No reason.
What? I mean, how does that make no reason? So you took the chance you would be sanctioned. That doesn't even compute to me. They were still thinking they were going to get a settlement out of you, I guess.
I don't know.
Oh, God, this whole thing has just been so nuts. Oh, by the way, if Bruce thought that by delaying this, it was going to mean that the camera would not be in the courtroom, that's not going to happen either, because I spoke to Lauren. She's available in April, so that is also still happening. And I would imagine that if she wasn't available for some reason, or whatever, I'm imagining Chandler might be able to hold a camera. I can't imagine that wouldn't happen at some point. Like someone will film this.
I don't know. I learned some interesting things. If I ever will need to have a conference, I can just be like, hey, I'm going to get my lawyer on the line and then we can transfer it to India, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's amazing.
It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense to me. And I am starting to feel a little bit sorry for Scott Stark, because do you think he knew what he was getting into with this? I mean, he admitted in the deposition he didn't research the case. He hasn't even.
Nothing. He didn't even know who it was dismissed against. He said, yeah, we dismissed it against Larry Foreman. But what about all the other ones? Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot that I filed that too.
Also, the way you understand
how do you do that?
What was fascinating was like, so the statute that you all quoted, the way you understand this, it's anybody puts up a picture, you get to sue. Yeah, that's exactly how I understand it. It was kind of fascinating. He didn't understand what the case was about, anything.
He hadn't read the cases that were mentioned in the motion for summary judgment. He hadn't researched it at all.
Yep.
That's a very bizarre thing to me. And I don't know if, like, how does Bruce find these lawyers? How does he find these lawyers that wouldn't even do any research? The chat is asking, could Stark have like early onset, some kind of, maybe he's getting up in years. I don't know, but this is starting to feel very exploitive and I don't like it. If this man really is as ill as he says he is, and it sounds like he is, he's got surgeries planned and whatnot.
No, notice
it's
how
not a good look.
Bruce's choice of friends consists of a mentally ill woman who has stalked another gentleman to another state, bought a property across his house so that she can mooch off of him and his fame. Next, he found a lawyer who has significant health problems, who is running on fumes, both in his health and his law firm. And now his latest friend is a ex-lawyer, disbarred, convicted felon who served prison time and is now threatening to come to Tug's house and do God knows what to him. Like, those are his friends. Yeah. Those are the people
he's also threatening us. He's also threatening us with mobsters. Just to let you know, he's bragging about his mob ties, which he has. He actually has. He went to prison for using one of them to try to hire to put a hit out on somebody, on a politician.
Yeah. You know somebody has a crazy record when you're reading through the articles about them, and in one line they're like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, they found another thing: grand larceny, having to put back $50,000." That only merited one line out of everything else. Yeah, it's what a track record. You know, he made it clear, by the way, that he was like, "Don't forget, they accused me of threatening to dismember my ex-wife." I was like,
he wanted us to know that very specifically.
Fascinating. Yeah.
These are the people Bruce hangs out with. Oh, and not to mention, he picked up a journalist who has slept with a couple of victims.
Number 4.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Picked up a journalist who I actually now have evidence that this journalist has slept with at least 2 of his victims of family court.
Well, Larry wasn't around the other people too. Let's see. There's the one the
the serial squatter. Yeah, the squatters who got evicted out of 8 apartments.
The Lees. Those are the Lees, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And her husband. And then her husband also, I found a new case against him for defrauding another 84-year-old. This would be the 3rd senior citizen that we found.
What the hell's are in the chat, by the way?
Hello, Jeremy and George.
What's up, Jeremy?
I mean, these people, they all have these really shady records, histories. It's terrible. They really do flock together.
Yeah. We got to stand strong, you guys. So I swear, when they don't, I mean, it's one of the two. You either have brain or you have brawn, right? They don't have a brain, so they're trying to use brawn to intimidate us. We've got the brains. We don't need muscle. We have intelligence, skill, and ability. They have none of those 3, so they're like, well, we'll beat you up if you come after us.
Dude, I mean, again, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but I'm having the time of my life. Come on, baby.
Tug is so funny. Tug calls me, Tug texts me, and he's just like, I know you don't want to deal with this, but I'm having the most fun I've had in years.
since the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case.
Yeah.
This is the most fun.
He's like, I love this chaos.
Oh man, this case is every day. I never know what I'm going to wake up to. It's crazy stuff, man. Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, I figured we'd go over Depo. How much time do you have, Larry? I know you said your time is limited.
I have like 5-10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Do you feel like when we when we look at this, is there anything we're missing? We're not talking about. You're like, maybe you're leaving this little part out here.
Anything that we're missing with respect to which part?
Well, with just respect to the thumbnail case in general, we're not lawyers. Like, that's the one thing. We're looking at it. We're watching the clown show, but we're not looking. Maybe there's another level of clown show that we're not catching on.
Well, the top tier level clown show is that the lawsuit was filed based on a law that we are exempt from. It is literally clause number 4 of the statute. Remember, we covered it in the very beginning, before the lawsuit even happened, when there were still just plain good old fashioned threats. I remember when Jeff, Legal Vices, may he rest in peace, one of the reasons he was complaining that he wasn't added to the lawsuit, because he wanted to be part of the lawsuit, is because he was using AI. He had Lynette like riding a turtle. He had like Lynette in the she shed or whatever.
And he wrote like 6 or 7 songs, and they were so funny.
He never got added to the lawsuit because he never actually used her image. See, I just wanted to use her image because I think she is creepy. And she is going to, people are going to recognize, like, oh, it's a video about her. I want to watch this, And so.
And those images that you used were from court or from her deposition, which were public videos that she doesn't own the copyright to.
No.
There was no copyright issue. There's nothing. We're exempt from all of that, the statute that they used. I still have her picture on some of my thumbnails. They didn't go after me.
You mean there's public interest too? Lots of people.
Yeah, it's newsworthy. That's the exception.
Yeah.
If it's something that people are interested in hearing about, again, I made the analogy and I'll make it again. Let's say I was gonna, again, I don't know why anybody in their right mind would do that, but let's say I wanted to put Lynette's face on this cup or this glass and start selling it for $9.99. Get your own Lynette, on a mug. You have your tug on a mug. New from DUI Guy. Lynette on a mug. Get yours today. Only $9.99. Use the promo code below for Like, if I were to do that, now I'm profiteering. Now I'm
you can't do that.
Image and likeness. You can't do that. But when I'm simply using a thumbnail to indicate what the video is about, no, there is no law against it. Remember, you guys may remember, and your chat may remember. Tell me about this. Do you remember the lawsuit of, oh my God, was it Megan Thee Stallion or was it somebody else? I can't remember. There was like a $3 million lawsuit that this celebrity won because there was a YouTuber who kept going on the internet saying this celebrity has HIV or she has some venereal disease. Do you remember this, Megan?
I don't remember this. No.
It was like a couple of years ago. She just kept making video after video after video after video saying,
I don't pay attention to rappers.
She's well, I mean, I don't know. I just remember this being like a thing.
The chat says it was Cardi B.
Cardi B. And Cardi B got a verdict. She got
that was against that Tasha K. Yeah.
Yes, that one.
Oh my God, you guys know these things. I don't know these things.
How much money did Cardi B win off of this Tasha K person? Chat, help us out here. Do you remember?
And this was because she said she had some sort of STD.
Yes.
If I'm remembering, it's like
communicable disease.
5 in punitives, and I think there's $1 million in general, and I can't remember. It's somewhere over $1 million in.
Will Call says 10.5.
That doesn't sound right for some reason.
No, I think it's like
4. I think it's 4.
Slug says 4.
Yeah, that sounds about right because there was
4 or 5.
4.
Yeah, it was over $1 million in costs, and then you had close to, I think, 3 for everything else.
Mary Smith says pecuniary.
It's ridiculous. That's a new one too.
Ridiculous.
You missed out on that one, man.
Oh,
it's so ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
4 or
Lynette
5 million.
She spelled ridiculous. It's our favorite. It's our favorite new word, ridiculous.
When you are actively defaming someone, you are spreading lies. You're using your platform to lie to your audience, lie to the people, saying Cardi B has this infectious, venereal disease or whatever. That's a lawsuit. That is a straight up lawsuit, and Tasha K paid for it in the millions, somewhere around 4 or 5, as Chad is saying. That's a lawsuit. But using someone's thumbnail as you discuss the facts, you know, truth is an absolute defense to defamation. We've learned that in the Johnny Depp trial. And you cannot defame someone by speaking the truth about them.
Even if the truth is awful.
Even if the truth is awful. Exactly. So
truth is so this is why it cracks me up when Bruce makes statements like he's going to come after me for defamation of title, which is hilarious, because I built a Lego. Yes.
The Lego purgatory.
Larry. Do you not know about this? He wants to sue me for defamation of title because I built Turtle Purgatory out of Legos. Now, what I can't wait to do if he does bring the suit is literally watch the video I made with the judge as I am watching her on the Fish and Wildlife video, and I'm just adding things to my Lego thing that I'm seeing on the film from the body cam footage. She's like, there's a nail. You're going to get nail in your eye. And there's snakes. And I've got snakes in there, and I have nails, and I have loose tools and pieces of glass. And I called it a toddler gauntlet because, you know, this poor kid has to run through this dangerous field of things before she can, you know, to play. And it all came from statements that Lynette made. So good luck. I wish you luck, Bruce, in coming after anybody for defamation of title when all of those things were taken straight from your client's mouth.
One of my favorites was, I'm going to sue you for calling me an ambulance chaser. And then he had to add, although unlike Larry Foreman, I do not do personal injury law.
He's got. Larry, did you know
I was
you're
just
an ambulance
like,
chaser, Larry?
Oh, my entire life, even before I was a lawyer, I used to just run after them like, don't go, wait for me. You got
is ambulance chaser even defamatory? I mean, it's really just an insult. Really, it's like calling somebody ugly.
I think Bruce's biggest problem is none of anything that we're talking about. Honestly, his biggest problem is his thin skin. You gotta have a thick skin. You gotta know how to be able to like make fun of yourself and be okay with letting others make fun of you and just take it in stride. Let it roll off your back, because the minute you show them your soft underbelly and you show them where your weak spots are, what are people going to do? They're just going to keep poking at those weak spots until you either toughen up or you crumple and have a complete mental breakdown. And because we've seen Bruce like have his own mental breakdowns on Facebook. He's had complete conniptions.
He's having one right now. Or he cannot get over the fact that we have teased him about the size of his nose. One of the most middle school, you know, insults there is. People have teased me about the way I look a million times. We've teased him about the size of his nose. He started out trying to be cool with it. Now he has contacted the ADL. Yes, he has contacted the ADL to accuse us of anti-Semitism for pointing out that he has a big nose. Now, Larry, I ask you, you're a Jew.
Excuse me, what did you just call me? I'm calling the ADL on you, Megan.
Is it or is it not a little anti-Semitic to automatically assume that the person who has a big nose is a Jew? I didn't even know the guy was a Jew.
I don't know, Megan. You tell me.
What about mine? I mean, mine's pretty big. I mean, Nick Rekieta's got the biggest nose any of us have ever seen, and he's not Jewish.
Yeah.
You can't. Apparently, you cannot make fun of people with big noses. You can't say that they have a big nose if they happen to be Jewish. It's like
you also can't say people should eat Tide Pods if they're going to build
right. We didn't tell Larry this. So I am being accused of being a eugenicist, a Yahtzee level eugenicist, Larry, because I tweeted out the following sentiment years ago when the Tide Pod challenge was going around on TikTok. I said something to the effect of, call me crazy, but I think kids who are too stupid to not eat the Tide Pods. I think I said something like, let them eat the Tide Pods and the nutmeg. and find out the hard way and win the Darwin Award, because it's better that a few of them go through that than the rest of us have to put up with new laws and safety warnings when you should just have a higher IQ than that. Like, you shouldn't eat Tide Pods, and I think everybody should know that. Somehow that got turned into, I am a Yahtzee level eugenicist.
There was no segue. I mean, it really went from, hey, here, this quote right here, this proves it.
It's that whole let the gene pool clean itself argument.
Yes.
What's the problem? I don't get it.
It's a Yahtzee. Apparently, I am literally Clitler with
Clitler. Oh, Lord.
Literally Clitler, because I said that kids should know better than to eat Tide Pods. I wasn't even talking about whose kids or what kids, just kids in general.
Oh, there's so much to catch up on, Larry. One day when you have some real time, we'll bust it all up for you, and I think you'll have a couple of hours of real laughing.
Oh yeah.
Right,
oh,
Larry.
did I don't think I sent you, Larry. I'll have to send you the email that we got. You'll get a big laugh out of that. I don't think I sent that to
yes, send that over to him. It's magic.
I will.
It is magic.
It's magic. Yeah, it's magical.
Larry, I do not want to keep you all night. I know you were tired.
Yeah. It's been a very long week. Not even a long day, long week.
Is there anything you want to add, Bam, before you bounce?
Well, it's good to be back. I really, it's amazing. Just real talk for just a second. Let's pause the laughter since you asked. I, for the first time, actually got a chance to experience what grief is like. I've never in my life had to grieve over someone so deeply. I mean, I've had like brief moments of grief here and there, but not such a. And I learned a new term, anticipatory grief. So I learned a lot about life, I will say. And in my absence, there was a lot of growth that hopefully I can now shine through on the other side of this camera that I'm staring at. I look forward to continuing to make content and continuing to follow this case. I know some people even messaged me like, are you still like, are you friends with Jeremy? Are you guys like at odds with one another? I only got like a couple of those messages, but now the air obviously is clear. But I plan on making daily videos. Hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, I'll be pumping out a video every single day around 5 p.m. usually. It may come a little bit earlier, may come a little bit later. And 2 shorts religiously. So you're going to see 3 pieces of content pretty much every day on my channel. So it's back. I'm cranking it back up. And it'll be all sorts of variety. I'm going to be covering current events, lawsuits, Trump administration stuff. So if you hate Trump, if you love Trump, I don't care. Come onto my channel. I'll be covering some of the executive orders that are now happening. I already have one, and I got another one in the works. We'll be covering the Blake Lively stuff when that becomes more real. Karen Reed obviously is back on the radar, so we're going to be covering some Karen Reed stuff. You name it, and I'll be covering it and my goal is I want to make short videos, short, concise, direct, something about the law, something about current events, something that you can take to the dinner table and say, oh my God, you guys, did you hear about, such and such? And you, having watched my video, will be able to say with an educated voice, but did you know this? And they'll go, I didn't. Where did you learn that? Oh, I learned it on the Buckle Up channel, which is actually the direction where I'm going. The DUI guy is slowly going to be like phased out. Right now, I'm the DUI guy, plus Buckle Up. But eventually, I'll transition completely into Buckle Up. It's the law. I'll always be the DUI guy. That's like my moniker. But the channel name will change pretty soon here, probably over the next year, 12 months or so. So that's kind of the direction I'm going.
Are you going to be not doing live streams anymore, or live streams just less often, or what are you thinking?
So in my experience, for everything that I've learned about the algorithm and about how YouTube caters to the audience, is it prefers catered content over live streams.
Yes, very much so.
In my break, and Tug, you know this, in my break, I done a lot of research, and I watched like other channels and what they do and how they do things. I'm going to keep my videos like hopefully 8 to like 15, no more than 20 minutes long.
Mhm.
And live streams are going to be a dime a dozen. I'm probably gonna maybe live stream at most once a week, possibly even once a month. So there are not going to be as many live streams that you will see. At least that's the plan. I mean, that might subject to change, but YouTube does not push forward live streams. I can't tell you how many people I have seen come into a live stream that I'm like live doing, unless it's a jury trial. If it's a live jury trial, oh yeah, we're gonna live stream the heck out of that stuff.
Sure.
But if it's like a video to talk about a topic, nobody wants to sit there for an hour and a half for the most part. Not you guys are an exception. I know you guys will sit for Tug for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. God bless you. You are special. Most people want like a nugget, like, oh, what happened today? Oh, Trump signed an executive order that, is sending so many immigrants back home. So what does that mean? Okay, let me make a quick 10-minute video, tell you guys what that means. That's what the YouTube algorithm prefers. So I'm kind of catering to that. That's all.
That's cool, man.
It
if
is
it's
cool.
something, it'll be good to, when you throw your hat in the ring, as it were, with something, it'll be fun to cover it on our 4 hours. Yes, baby.
Right. More content for us. I like it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Every day, baby. Yeah. No, it's good, man. I'm glad to have you back. Hey, I'm sorry about your loss too, man.
Thank you. Thank you. It happens. Everybody.
It was a tough month.
It was my turn.
Yeah. Well,
right,
Larry,
man.
Good to have you back, man.
Yeah,
So,
brother. I'll let you jump though. I'm trying to keep it on time because I'll ramble all day.
We love you too.
So I'll let you jump, brother. We're gonna go over the depot, and
this should
like
be
I said,
fun.
you are welcome anytime, man. You want to come on?
Definitely. I appreciate it. I love you guys.
We love you too. Hug Chandler for me.
I will. Oh, and she says hi, by the way. I think she was in the chat earlier.
She was. I saw her.
Hey,
she said she wanted to know what all the raucous laughter was about. She said she heard you from the kitchen.
Oh my God. Oh my, that's like all the way like over there.
She did. She heard you from the kitchen and she was like, what the heck is going on in there?
Yeah, man. I was like 2 days. I was like, I wonder what I can make. I could make something really funny in 2 days.
You didn't even tell me. You didn't even show that to me. All you did.
Oh no, that was my secret. I was like, I'm gonna make something.
He showed me a
fun
screenshot, and I had no idea he wrote a whole new song. That's really fun.
It was awesome. That warmed my heart. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh man, hey, dude, I appreciate you, man, for real. I like live streaming with certain people, but man, I consider you a friend, so I appreciate you, brother.
Likewise. All right, you all. I will see you very, very soon. Okay. And we should do this again very, very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Good night, Larry.
Yeah,
all right.
See you, man.
Have a good night. Have fun with your stream. And have fun reading the depot. Wait,
Oh,
who's playing who? Before I go, who's playing who?
I don't know. We're gonna have to figure it out. It's Tug's night.
The start part is the most fun. You have.
I know it's
like
Tug's night. So
I believe. I don't know. Like
I don't know. I did like how it started out though. Hey, we're on the, and he hung up.
Poor guy. His wife probably hung it up.
I just loved it.
Bye, Larry.
All right, see you, brother. Oh yeah,
I finally get to
man. It's good to see
off.
DUI guy back, man. I always have so much fun when he comes on. Oh dude, yeah, I've been sitting on that. I've been sitting on that song. I finished it all up today.
You need to put that on Dropbox and send it to him so he has a
copy. I'm going to. I'm going to give it to him.
Give it to him.
Just enjoy it.
It's so good, and I'm sure he would like to have a copy of it. So
I laughed. I was I had to go out and learn how to trim out photos to put him in that thing. I'm usually really lazy. One stationary picture. I was like, no, I'll go with a few. Stick in a little.
Oh, it was so good. I loved it. I love your new video.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. So we do have to decide who's going to read what part. And it's true that Stark is more fun, but it's your night, so I'm going to let you choose.
I mean, I don't care really. Are you feeling humorous today, or are you feeling like you want to dry read? Because
I don't actually have a preference. I don't. Okay. Maybe we should let the chat choose.
Yeah. Hey, chat. Who do you want to read? So we have We have a couple of players in here, and that's it. We're gonna have Stark, and we're gonna have Randy. Now, Randy's funny in a lot of ways.
That is also true.
Funny. Yes.
That's also there's plenty of laugh lines in both parts. So let's hear what let's see. The chat says Tug as we've got 2 votes for Stark. Tug for Stark. 2 votes now, 3, 4 for Stark. Okay, I think they want you to be Stark, so I will be Randy Shockett.
I need to pull that up. Actually, do you have the depot pulled up, or
I can pull it up.
Yeah, I haven't.
Nothing needs to be like redacted, does it?
I don't know. Just look at the top real quick and see if there's anything on it.
I don't think there is anything, but well, there's usually like the
It is weird. Let me pull up something before we start that. So somebody sent me a funny little thing, and you can understand why BBB kind of celebrates these moments and delays. So somebody actually charted the case, the big case.
Oh,
right?
This is funny.
Oh man! So if you look here, like you see all the denial. This is BBB, the yellows. Now you have
that's an awful lot of
denied. Sit down.
It is. Yeah. So if we go through these and look for what we would call wins, we have, jurisdictional denials. We have, denials with request on counsel. He did get in the case. So there's a win. Yay.
Yay. He got admitted. Pro Hoc Vice. He paid his fine. Good for you.
I don't know. He kept telling us there would be no case. So now, he's celebrating the RICO portion, but the case goes forward. So I don't really think you can celebrate that one,
Yeah.
But you see all the other denials that roll through here now. The motion to leave.
The blue ones are for Jeremy's denials, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to, again, we've talked about the amended complaints. The whole idea that he can't be added. I guess he may consider that a win. I don't know. It actually streamlined the case. I think it makes it much easier to present. It's not, it doesn't bog down. Now, I think you could go either way. So if you add more people, there's plenty of evidence to say, hey, look at this insanity. So you could have gone that way, or you can go the other. So, if you want to call that a win, I don't know. I don't know if I call that all a win. There's still a lot of evidence for him. And after everything that's gone on with the thumbnail litigation and stuff, I don't know if I'd call any of that a win either.
Yeah.
His denials. Just look at all of that. And, let's not forget, he didn't have to have mandatory mediation.
Oh, yeah, granted.
So getting added to the case.
Although even then the judge said at this time.
Yeah, that's true.
So he kind of signaled that, well, I'll let you get away with it for now, but we'll probably revisit this later.
So this will be the second extension that he's actually celebrated, by the way. He was like, oh, I got to add 5 months. That was delaying. I look at it as all a delay. So he celebrates delaying 5 months. And then he celebrates, way to go, man. Hey, with any luck, maybe you can kick the can down the road another week or something. I don't know. It's so ridiculous.
All right, I've got it here.
Okay, folks.
Here we go. I've gone past all the things that had addresses on them, like attorneys' addresses and whatnot. All right, so the following takes place on the 27th day of January at 10:10 a.m. via Zoom video conferencing in Florida. And of course, this is blah, 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 blah.
I love that beginning right there.
All right. You're going to have to be the court reporter, too. So get your best court reporter voice on.
Is this a court reporter? I'm going to assume the female.
She is a woman. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you're going to have to get your best female voice on. Ready?
It's not a very good one, but I will try.
Wait, do I have a kid raider in my room? Hangry? No, he just keeps going in and out. If you hear doors. By the way,
folks, let me ask real quick. If you like the content, obviously, share it. Tell people we're live. They definitely should check out today. There's some big days. This is an interesting one. Like button's free. Click that like And if you'd like to go further, you'd like to help out the channel, the breadsticks are definitely appreciated too, always. And thank you, folks. And thank you for being here. There's quite a few of you here. There's over 3,000 folks. So, all right, let's do it.
All right. We're here on the record. Scott Stark is on the... Oh, he just hung up. Man, and I really wished you would... You did hear him a little bit, right?
Okay, that just cracks me up. Yeah. He's like, Scott Stark is on the... He just hung up.
We're not even one sentence in and we're losing it already.
That was hilarious. I mean, I don't know. The first time I looked at that, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That's almost like a comedy routine thing.
Grapes are stuck, run away, run away, run away. Grapes are stuck, run away.
Oh, I love it. Let's see. I heard a little. I couldn't even make it out.
All he said was hello. All he said was hello. Like, stay on the record.
Okay.
We were talking to Scott Stark. Miss Hunnings was on the line. We hadn't started the record yet. We briefly started the record. Mr. Stark was on the line, and he just said that he's not going to... Well, he first said that he has computer issues, and he agreed to do it by audio only. He did say a few things to Miss Hunnings. She couldn't hear him that well, so we're going to just give him the call-in number, and he literally just hung up. So we're going to dial again now.
I love this too. So you're dialing.
Wait, I have noise for that.
Okay.
Wait. There we go.
Calls to this number are being screened by Smart Call Blocker. Please say your name after the tone and then press pound. Beep.
This is attorney Randy Shockett of Shockett Law Group in Trenton, Florida. We're here on the record. We were on the record briefly.
That's so crazy. Calls to this number are being screened by Smart Call Blocker. Please say your name after the tone and then press pound. Beep.
Attorney Randy Shockett with the court reporter.
Please wait a moment while your call is connected.
Wait, you know what we missed out at? We missed something. We missed something very important. I should have been doing this.
Please wait a moment while your call is connected.
That's too crazy, though. I mean, you have to. That's like a comedy routine right off the bat.
The chat is like, wait, is this real?
Yes, this is real. This is how it went at the beginning. Does this not remind you a little of an LMNOP beginning?
Yes.
You know, like, I've got technical issues.
I feel so sorry for this guy. Oh, God.
See, you know, I'm torn on it. I realize like he's a puppet name. Actually, that's interesting. I was thinking about this. So, you know, the rent to own folks, you know, the one making paint chips, we'll say. Yeah, paint chips.
Right.
Remember in everything that we read, there was a disabled blind man that was brought in to be the puppet front of a fake company. Similarities abound, don't they?
Yeah, you know, the more we find out about Scott Stark, it's like, wait a minute. This guy is disabled. He's elderly. He's in poor health. I don't like the sound of this.
See, I'm of two minds, like I say. On the other side, if he would have been reaching into Jeremy and DUI guy's pocket, he'd have been just fine with it. You know, he'd have got his payday. It wouldn't have mattered the damage done. So, you know,
I mean, I can see both sides of it, but I don't like hearing that he's in poor health and he's...
No, I feel like he was probably promised the moon, and well he's been delivered the
Bruce said. Really, who knows what Bruce said to him? Who knows? It's clear he didn't do his own research, and that's a problem. He should have.
Here's another question, and this was brought up in a super chat right as we're moving forward. He's celebrating delays. You know, he's celebrating like Does that mean he's tied to all cases? Is that what he's telling me? I mean, it's just a question.
Kenneth Sawyer. I'm old and in poor health, and the key is don't do stupid shit. Look, I agree with that, but I don't like to see people get taken advantage of. I don't. And if Bruce did take advantage of Scott, then it would be good for Scott to come clean about that and, maybe admit that he made some mistakes here. I don't know. I don't know if that will save him from sanctions, but he might want to consider it. He might want to consider telling whatever it is he knows, because he's in trouble.
Yes, they have put him on a sinking financial ship. And you're talking about a guy who's, supposedly having real financial hardships.
And he's the one with his name on the line.
Yep.
Bruce never entered into this case, so there can be no sanctions imposed on him. The only two people who are liable for sanctions are Lynette Preston, whose name is on the lawsuit, and Scott Stark.
I wonder how Lynette will feel about that. By the way, you have sanctions imposed against her. I wonder how she'll feel about that one.
Well, she's been told that can't happen, so
yeah,
I'm sure she's not going to be real happy about it.
Where's the court reporter?
All right.
Does he have the same Zoom instructions that I have?
He does, but he's having computer problems.
But, I mean, the number to call is also there. If you can't get through by video, you can call.
Connie, wait. He's trying to speak. Hello?
How does he sound, by the way? Is he always like, hello?
I don't know.
Hello, this is, you called me?
Okay, well, let's get started.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, good.
All right. Would you swear the witness in, please?
Mr.
Yes, she's going to swear you in. Whereupon Scott R. Stark, Esquire, was called as a witness, having been first duly sworn to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, was examined and testified as follows.
I swear, yes.
Thank you. Okay, so you are Scott Stark, a licensed attorney in the state of Florida?
Yes.
And you are the attorney. You're the attorney in two cases involving Jeremy Hales representing Miss Preston.
Yes.
Okay, we're here strictly limited to inquiring as to the issues in the pending motion for sanctions. That's it. So my question to you is, have you received all of the filings in this case, including the motion for summary judgment?
The paper? Oh, yes. Yeah, I have.
Okay, did you write the complaint in this case, or did somebody else write it?
I had a person help me with it, but I made the final corrections and I signed it. It's my complaint.
Okay, who was the person that helped you? Was it an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Florida?
No, it was not.
Who was the person?
The Bruce Manskins. He's an attorney from the Massachusetts.
Is he involved in this case? Is he doing any legal work in this case?
Maybe not in this case, but he's involved in the federal case.
Right. When you say maybe not, Mr. Stark, is that a yes or a no in this case?
He's not involved in this case in an official manner. He's helping me out.
Okay, I understand. All right. So do you have the lawsuit? Can we agree involves use of images of your client by several different defendants that you named?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any examples of the use of your client's image that would support your claims in this case?
Yes. Now, Now, I don't have them with me right now. Yeah, I can't produce them immediately, but yes, we have those images.
Would you agree to provide them to me? You were asked in the subpoena today to bring them with you.
I don't have them. Our computer is down, and I'm not lying about that.
No one suggested he was lying.
No, it's just busted out.
Here's a good tip when you're lying. Don't announce that you're not lying. If you're going to tell a lie, don't
I'm totally
be like,
not lying about
I'm
that.
totally not lying about this thing I just lied about.
Are you winking at me, sir? It's my cataracts. No, wait.
All right, I understand. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Images.
I can't breathe. Your voice. I like your stark voice. Okay, I'm going to try and get through this, chat. I'm sorry. I understand. You go ahead.
Counsel, you with me?
You go ahead.
I will provide you with the images.
And then you'll provide me with the images when your computer is back up?
Or as soon as possible. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Do you recall those images as you sit here today?
Recall them exactly?
Yes, or even generally.
Exactly. You mean like, can I photo recall them? Sure, yeah, dude. I can tell you. They were like 600 DPI. Yeah, I recall them generally, yes.
So are the images of Miss Preston appearing in thumbnails for Facebook or YouTube posts?
That's my assumption. Yeah, I'm not sure.
What? How are you not sure, sir?
He doesn't even know what they're about. This is amazing because when you listen to this chat, what you learn is he has no idea what's in this case whatsoever.
He doesn't even know what the pictures are.
No,
he has
no idea about anything in this.
Oh God, this is so bad.
It's so amazing. I was like,
I
man.
love Randy too. Randy's like, okay, all right. Did you do any investigation prior to filing this complaint as to whether those images existed?
Yeah, with the Mr. Manskin. Yeah, I talked to my clients several times. Yeah, yes.
Okay, so can you tell us as an attorney what your understanding of the statute is? Is it that if somebody posts an image of anyone on a Facebook thumbnail without their consent, that they're liable financially under that statute that you filed?
That
you filed your complaint under?
That is my understanding. Whoa, wow, that's crazy. So anybody posting an image in a thumbnail, whatever,
that's
without
his understanding.
That's amazing.
Anybody, for any reason.
Yeah. So any news, anything else, no matter what, if they don't get consent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you imagine like every story? Do you think here's
they would never be able to advertise their shows ever again?
Well, they would never be able to talk about, there's a certain conviction we read about, with Shissy the other day. And the articles, even though I didn't put the picture up there, those articles came with pictures on the front. I assume that person probably didn't want their picture on the front.
I mean, I've been in the news business a long time. And when it comes to photographs of people on news articles, the only people you need to get the permission from is the AP, the copyright holder. You have to pay the AP. Normally your news articles, you're getting pictures from the Associated Press.
Right.
So the Associated Press, they camp out at the White House. They take all kinds of pictures of the president and they throw them up on the AP website for sale. And then news organizations, we have, subscriptions to the AP wire photographs. It's very expensive, by the way, very expensive. and we buy those and we use them for our articles. But you don't ask Donald Trump for his, permission to
Right.
put his picture on a newspaper article. And imagine if you had to. Imagine no one would be able to use anything,
No,
any picture of
news,
anybody.
all media would come crashing to a halt.
Yes, it would come crashing to a halt, which is why there are exemptions in the law for news and YouTube and Facebook. Like there are exemptions, you guys. Oh God, this is so dumb. All right. Okay, so there's probably a lot of images of your client on Facebook now. Do you know? Do you agree?
Probably, yes.
Okay, so
Making this big, production of her, the YouTubes. I'm sure but we'll talk about the matters in question.
right. So how many images do
Right.
you right. I'm picturing Dr. Evil. Right. So how many images do you have that you recall that you're going to produce when your computer is back up?
I like this part here.
Yeah.
I cannot recall.
Right. But is it 1,000? Is it 10? 10,000? A million?
It's much closer to 10 than the million.
Oh God, we're here over 10 photos. Okay, right. I gotcha. All right.
But a reasonable amount. Yeah.
Does he mean an unreasonable amount? Because a reasonable amount sounds like
Yeah,
not
it
that
would be
much.
like, hey, well, it was reasonable to go and use those.
It was perfectly reasonable. All right. And you had mentioned wanting a continuance in this case. Did you get my email saying that we need to meet and confer?
I did not receive that email, so I don't.
Okay.
No, I have not received that email.
All right. Well, let's go off the record for just a second. This is between the attorneys. All right. So they go off to do their meet and confer. And then we're back on the record. All right. Let's go on the record. Oops, I'm yawning. Yes, there's an
counsel, get
issue.
some energy in you.
There's an issue now about concern with Mr. Stark's health problems. She's going to go on the record. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. I'm suffering from the diabetes and congestive heart failure. So as we speak right now, I'm going to cardiac rehab for my congestive heart failure. Oh, okay. I mean, it's Monday. It's the Wednesday, and it's Friday, and it's from to 12 o'clock. Well, excuse me, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh,
In
God,
the meantime, I'm also in the process of the cataracts, getting the treatment for the cataracts. Okay, I mean, I had an insurance glitch. Man, it's sad, man. This guy
is
is
sad.
It's a
It's
sad fucking
sad.
delay. I'm
It's-
reading this, but
it's
I'm not making fun of his
sad.
health things. This is terrible, dude.
It's terrible. And
Ugh.
it's just making me angrier and angrier at Bruce, because here you've got a guy with some serious health problems going on. If he really has congestive heart failure, diabetes, and cataracts, this is not a happy man. This is a man who's in a desperate time. And
yeah, I mean, you could see how he could be lured in by the easy claim of money.
plus now he's talking about insurance problems. So who knows what his insurance is paying and not paying, and this is again this is just like Paint Chips and his disabled blind man.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God.
That's exactly what I thought when I was reading through this, because Paint Chips, again, that guy was saying that he had a guardian ad litem. He was going through terrible things. So he runs across this person. They give him $3 and a pack of smokes. They're like, oh, I know this lawyer. Let's go see Paint Chips. So they go and see him. And they never do anything for his situation. They never at all, according to him. Instead, they recruit him. They send him to multiple banks. He is the face of a fake organization. and it's defrauding. So, I mean, he's been pulled in, and he does get, monetary remuneration, but still, you know.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of this. Really seems scammy, and I don't even know at this point. Like, I just
Remind me at the end of this stuff too. I got something for the chat today on ye old paint chips too. I do want to mention.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so remind me. I don't want to forget this one. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Well, the chat's not buying it. None of them. The chat is very angry. They're like, I don't feel sorry for him. I kind of do. I'm taking him at his word. If he has these health problems,
I'm torn. Like, he would not care. You know, he wouldn't care. Like, look at what Jeremy Hales and George are going through right now. Look at everything stacked up against them and the harassment and more. And this guy, you know,
but I'm a sympathetic person.
I know. You are. Actually, you are. That's one of the things.
That's my problem.
Yes, we've had that talk. I'm like, be hard-hearted about this. Mine is more think with your gut, not your feelings.
Doug's like, you're a dumbass. Trust everyone. Stop it. Stop trusting everyone. And I'm like, oh, now I feel bad for
I've never used the word dumbass. I've never used the word dumbass. I'm just like, think with your gut.
Yeah. That's my interpretation of what I think.
You're actually a nice person, you know. Does that say I'm not a nice? You are not a nice person. Maybe. I don't know. maybe I'm not a nice person.
Everybody knows you're an asshole.
I mean,
you are not a nice person.
I mean, hey, you know, I haven't denied me an asshole.
Oh man. Okay, I know. I just can't help but feel a little sorry for an aging man with a bunch of problems.
No, that's good.
Because then I think about my dad, you know, and like think about him dealing with insurance and like all the other crap. My dad's got diabetes and like, you know, I don't know how old Scott Stark is. I don't know. It would make it worse for me if he was elderly. I don't know how old he is though. But I do feel like this man was probably lied to at some point about this. Should he have done more research? Obviously. But, you know,
from this, you get the feeling, you already see this, but it's going to get worse. And you can tell he has no idea what this case is about or anything that's gone on, really. That's the feeling you get.
Do you think maybe that Bruce chose this guy because he had all this stuff going on and like he can't really even pay attention to this? He's just going about his own business, going to all these doctor's appointments and his 3 times a week cardio rehab and not able to pay attention to this.
But it does make you
wonder. God, he's only 57. He's way too young to be this sick.
God, 57. I would adjust my voice, but I don't have another one.
57. That's really sad.
It is. I had the insurance glitch that delayed it from the January to the February, sometime in February, and I don't have an exact appointment date. I'm going to have to go in and restart the whole process of getting prepared for the cataract surgery. A lot of space. I'm not seeing my words. There it is. Things that going on. So that's what I need. That's why I filed the motion for the continuance, amongst other things.
Okay, but you wrote in your motion that you wanted until the 14th to file a response to the motion for sanctions. Is that still valid?
Yes, sir. It's still valid.
Okay, so here's my question. I'm sorry to hear about your health issues, believe me. But I don't understand. You've had months and months. This motion was filed in September to write a response to it. Is there a reason why you waited until now?
Well, these the health issues have been ongoing, so.
Okay, now I happen to let's okay. So do you recall in this case, and I don't want to get into what was discussed in settlement, but your office reached out to me for permission for you to speak to Larry Foreman, who is a defendant and my client in this case. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And Larry Foreman called you and you eventually spoke to him, right?
I don't remember talking to the Mr. Foreman, the DUI guy, stepping after Mr. the mac and cheese manskin talked to me. I don't remember speaking to Larry Buckleup Foreman.
No. I'm sorry. It was a bad question. I meant Larry Foreman did speak with you and your office as part of my saying, yes, you can talk directly with him. You have my permission, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know that when Larry Foreman called your office the first time, your assistant said that you weren't there, that you were at the gym?
That's part of my cardiac rehab. It's the Mondays, the Wednesdays, the Fridays, again from the 1 o'clock to the 2 o'clock hand on the watch, three times a week.
Okay, that's
probably. I was not present, so I wasn't there when she said it. It's possible she might have said it, so that's where we're at.
okay. So tell us how you got involved in this case. Did Miss Preston contact you?
Yes, she contacted me through a lawyer the lawyer referral protocol, lawyer.com.
Okay. And how did Mr. Manskin contact you?
Well, Mr. Mac and Cheese contacted me after Mr. Wait, Miss Preston. Can't remember this guy.
Oh, man.
Miss,
Mr. Whatever
yeah,
it takes.
whatever. I've talked to her many times. I still can't make it out. That's fair though. I mean, that voice sometimes.
True.
I'm like, well,
I mean, true. That is fair.
Yeah,
anyone could be confused.
I mean, what gender really is the sound of screeching and nails
what
on
is this
chalkboard?
gender?
I have anxiety over the roof.
Angry. That's what
Angry.
It is. Yes. If angry were
Her
a gender.
pronouns. Her pronouns are shut the fuck up.
It's yell louder. That's what it is. But came on board and says, I'm helping her out through all these cases involving the Jeremy of Hales, and maybe we can cooperate on these.
Did you enter into an agreement, a written agreement to provide legal services to Miss Preston?
Yes, I did.
She signed it?
Yeah, I did.
No. Did she sign it?
Oh my God, I can't even. I'm not aware of that. Probably.
What?
Yes. I'm not aware of that.
Oh, come on now.
You don't
You're
even
a
know
lawyer.
if you have
You don't know if she signed the agreement. That's the first rule. Make sure they sign the agreement. That's the first rule. Get the money. Get the money. I was listening to Larry in Utah, actually. He was on the phone. He was making a deal. He was taking on a new client. And we were waiting around for him to go to the In-N-Out burger. And we couldn't until he was off the phone. So we were just sitting there quietly listening to Larry make a deal. And Larry's very good at it, by the way. You can tell he's done this a bunch of times. So he's talking to a potential new client. And as he tells him the deal, he tells him what the deal is. Here's how much it's going to cost. Here's what you have a choice. I like Larry does this funny thing like all good salesmen do. When they're closing, they don't ask them if they want to pay. They ask them, okay, you can pay this way or that way. How do you want to pay?
Yep.
So
Yeah, the
Larry
ABCs,
says,
right? Always be closing.
Yeah. Larry says, all right, you can give me the $3,000. I don't know what I'm making up numbers. $3,000 now, or you can give me $1,500 and then $1,500 again, on this date. Which one would you like to do? And then he closed the deal. Now, the next thing he says to him is, okay, great. Well, I'm going to have so-and-so call you, send you a contract. You're going to sign it and then send the payment. That you have to have a signed contract. That's the first thing you do. there's no way you don't know if you have a signed
It's such
contract.
I mean, it tells you how hands off this guy really is in this. He can't even tell you. Well, he can't tell you if it's a Mr. or a Miss, but he can't tell you the ins and outs. He can't tell you there's signed
Or if she's a
contracts.
defendant or a plaintiff.
Yeah, I mean, it's oh my gosh, this stuff is magical in its own weird way.
I know, and
I mean,
know.
I mean, it's probably yes, and I assume yes, but so I'm not sure.
Okay, if you have it, can you produce it to me?
We can produce it.
To your recollection, are you charging her?
Yes.
What's your hourly rate?
It's like the Earth. It's a flat fee. Sorry. I don't have any. It was a flat fee, about $3,000.
Okay, a flat fee. Gotcha. All right, and she paid that.
Yes, she did that.
Okay.
She's been keeping it. It was like, I believe don't hold me to this, Mr. Lawyer, but to the best of my recollections, it was $1,500 down. That's 1,500 down, and $300 a month afterwards. Maybe that's why we didn't release it right off the bat. Maybe we had to have enough months to pay for the lawyer.
Oh God, yeah, she might not be fully paid. So is she now paid in full?
I believe so.
Again, he doesn't know. You would know this. Okay, did you, and again, I understand this is just based on recollection, but do you have any recollection? Well, strike that. Just let me ask you. You read the summary judgment motion, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do any research into the cases that were provided in that summary judgment motion?
Oh my God, what an answer. As of right now, no.
Okay. Is there any reason why? Since you dismissed this case, correct?
Which case now?
Oh God, the case that we're here in the deposition of right now,
Oh my God.
what we call the thumbnail case, the one that's set for motion for sanctions. You dismissed it, right?
As far as for the DUI, Larry Foreman, yes.
Not just Foreman. You dismissed it for everybody. Are you not aware of that?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's correct. That's
Okay.
amazing. He had to
That's
remind
so
him.
crazy.
He had to remind him. He's like, yeah, you dismissed that for everyone, right?
No, I don't think he does know that.
No, but it's amazing.
You know what's concerning about this is Bruce just writing motions, electronically signing this guy's name and putting them and filing them without his knowledge?
I mean,
because those last couple of motions we saw, the motion to dismiss, it had an electronic signature, like it's just a word signature.
Yeah. We were talking about that because of the difference in the, it doesn't have the middle initial. Like you can tell when he writes it out because it's sloppy. It has.
How does he not know this? How does he not know that he dismissed this case?
Actually,
unless he's not the one who dismissed it.
Well, I mean,
the last he heard, it was being dismissed against. Listen to this. Oh my God. So Larry Foreman he's in the settlement conferences. What did he say in December? No, November. It was right after Thanksgiving. He doesn't hear from them again until they drop the case on December, the day after Christmas. So the last that Stark has heard about the dismissal was then, the day after Christmas, when they filed to dismiss against Larry. But maybe he didn't know that Bruce then also filed a motion to dismiss against everyone, because he's acting here like he does not know that.
Yeah, the signature thing too, like bringing it up. I clipped two of, people have been talking about that. And after we discussed it, I was like, oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So here's the, you can tell like this, handwritten. You see the issues where he scratched through it. You know, you can tell that that's handwritten.
That's handwritten. Yeah.
Versus that.
That's a completely different signature.
Yeah, that is not,
That's
that is
not.
Although it is interesting, like if this is electronic, it is kind of fascinating that we have this weird lean over here, I mean, this looks like.
Or maybe his wife signs things for him sometimes. I mean,
possibly.
That's possible. I mean, I know that my mother used to sign things for my dad all the time. And their handwriting was a little different.
I mean, it's kind of, it's just it's a fascinating thing people have talked about, and they've said, and this kind of adds to it as well, because we're talking about a guy that, well, he doesn't know anything about this at all. I mean, it is.
He doesn't. He sure doesn't seem to know anything about this.
No, not at all. I mean, he seems lost when they're talking about this whole case.
He seems lost, and that again, like, this is distasteful. This is so distasteful. Whether or not he's aware, like, it's distasteful either way. Like, if he was aware that he's letting this guy get away with some crap, that's distasteful. And if he wasn't aware and he's just being taken advantage of, that is also distasteful.
We saw DUI guy put up the, that one message thing, and then him talking here, where there's the inaudible, and then he's talking. He's just regurgitating Matskin's talking points. That's it. He's been. Right. It looks like he's been told a few things, and that's as far as it goes on the case. I mean, he has no awareness of anything else other than that overview talking point, YouTube content.
And now I'm thinking back about the different reviews about Scott Stark that we've read that were all pretty bad.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking back, and most of them were like, he didn't show up. He was bad at returning phone calls. Those are also, like, now that I'm thinking about it, also signs of someone who might be in poor health, who might be struggling. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well,
I don't like any of this. This is giving me the creeps.
When we looked at those filings, we knew that it was Bruce before that. Yeah. Now he started admitting to this stuff publicly, and that's kind of fascinating. For a while, for the longest time, his talking point, the ecosystem, is that's all a conspiracy. Suddenly there's admissions, I guess, because they know they're caught, but that's not a big deal anymore. Remember, not a big deal at all. So don't worry about that.
Well, frankly, I think Bruce knows what he can get away with, and he's probably right, because look, bar associations are garbage and they don't uphold their own laws or rules. We've seen it over and over again where attorneys can act incredibly badly and the bar associations will just ignore it or say it's not our problem. Or
well, that may be the case, but here's the thing. He told us the reason he didn't want to put his name on these other items is because he thought it would look bad in federal court. Now, how does this look now? I mean, he's talking about suing other people as well. Okay, so he's out there actively recruiting people that obviously have no idea whatsoever what they're in store for. He's running lawsuits behind the scenes. This is insanity.
And I wonder if this all does go south and Stark is held accountable because he's the one whose name is on the thing. I wonder if he has a case against Bruce to sue him.
It's quite possible. Not only that, I mean, he knows the dirty on that. I mean, if he gets hit for a large amount of sanctions there, I mean...
What's a senior? What is the age of a senior in Florida? Anybody know? Because I also know that in Florida, seniors have extra rights as far as con artists, right? So because there's so many senior citizens in Florida, like, is 55 a senior in Florida? I don't know. Somebody needs to find out and let me know, because if it is, he may have extra grounds. Because, you can't take advantage of seniors in Florida. But I mean, I wonder if they had a contract, the two of them.
That's actually I mean, there's all kinds of fascinating questions. I wonder what he was promised on the back end of this. Like that's my thing. $3,000, sure. But I wonder on the back end of that, hey, we're going to reach into the pockets of this gigantic YouTuber here, and this well-known lawyer, a lawyer that has a pretty damn good career, has a pretty damn good YouTube channel as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think right off the bat, it looked like, oh, we're going to get a settlement out of this. I think that's what any lawyer might think. Of course, if I'm not a lawyer, if someone had shown me this case and told me it was an easy win, I would have read it and gone, no, it's not. This is a terrible shit case.
Yeah,
and no one's going to settle.
You
all you have
read
to
the
do is read the statute.
Yes. I mean, that statute makes it very clear right off the bat. But I mean, maybe that was the point. They went with somebody they figured wouldn't read anything on it.
Yeah, possibly. Or like some guy who just doesn't have the time or energy because he's dealing with all these severe health issues. And I would really, boy, would I love to know what the conversation was with him in the beginning.
What's interesting is they give an AI breakdown for stuff. We looked at the 54008, the statute that they went with this. The AI breakdown, the way it puts it is I don't know. I like the way it says this. So it says Florida Statute 540.08 is the state's right of publicity law, which protects people from the unauthorized use of their name or likeness for commercial purposes. Now, what's prohibited? Publishing, printing, displaying, using person's name, photo, likeness for commercial purposes without their consent, or use of name or likeness to promote a product or service. Now, what are the exemptions? Well, it says straight up, it doesn't apply to news reports or presentations that are in the public interest. Straight up, it tells you. It also doesn't apply to artistic, musical, literacy works, and it doesn't apply to photography of people in public who are not named or identified. So, I mean, those are the exceptions, and the exception right there, even if you would have done a basic search, you don't have to read. So for me, I didn't even read the AI synopsis because, I wanted to go just like you, when we pulled it up, you pull up the statute. Larry pulls up the statute. Jeremy does that. But I mean, even with shorthanding it, all you had to do was read 2 to 3 paragraphs and understand this isn't going to be, if there's public interest there, if somebody is attached to news reports or presentations, they are a public figure or a limited purpose public figure. I love they've been arguing public figure a lot, by the way. And that fascinates me because their arguments, they pretend, like when we watch news reports, you see some of the people that become public figures because of their antics, the insanity that they involve. They make themselves public figures.
Right.
They don't even include that in the argument. I mean, you think about the Florida man, for example, and some of those samples we've gone with.
Yeah, let's talk about this too for a second. Donald says, I don't believe he's sick. Randy needs to have him checked out. Don't believe he's sick. Now, this is a thing that you can't. So remember, he's a lawyer. He's an officer of the court. He has credibility with the judge, who a judge is not going to ask a lawyer for proof that he's sick. Right. That's just not going to happen. And also, I believe that he probably is. Because I don't think you could have talked a lawyer into this.
We're talking about real in the scheme of things. I'm not insulting $3,000 first. Don't get that twisted. $3,000 is a decent amount of money, but it's not in litigation purposes. We're talking about potential protracted litigation.
Yeah, how many months has this been going on now? Yeah. $3,000 for. When did they file this? August?
I'd have to look back. I can't even remember. Does anybody know the month right off the bat?
It was around June, between June and August, I would say. That's my recollection. But let's just say it was filed in August. So that's been 5-6 months already of litigation for $3,000.
Yeah, and
that's nothing.
Well, and if it would have gone forward, okay, let's just assume we're going to go forward. We have, what is it, 4 people on the case, so you're going to have to go through all of the evidentiary process. You're going to have to go through
depositions.
Oh my God!
Yep.
I mean, that is a lot of work. No, nobody, $2,000 or $3,000. That's like you get in trouble for. Say you got a protective order or something. Maybe somebody will do that for you. They'll do it for a couple of grand, or you need to, go in.
You're talking one hearing.
Yeah.
You're not talking several hearings, several months, other filings, summary judgments, responses to summary judgments. No. They are in at least 10,000 into this case or more by now.
Yeah. I had court stuff with one. You have a main court case, but there were other items pending. And for one appearance, it would be even low rent lawyers. I called her, you want to get a kind of a feel for where people are, but it was between $1,500 and $3,000 was about the median. Now there were much higher people. A very good lawyer, though, and that was about $2,000 to $3,000. So, that was just for one appearance. I cannot imagine being able to get somebody on a case for $3,000, not for this many months, this many filings, unless they're not doing anything.
Yeah, I agreed. All right, let's see. Where were we?
4, I think.
All right. I think we were at, okay, let me just ask you, why did you wait until so many days after being given the 21 days notice that we would seek sanctions? Why didn't you dismiss it during those 21 days?
What is it? No reason. I think because he doesn't know a reason. He doesn't have an answer for that.
He doesn't have one. And any reason why you waited until after all of this legal work was done with summary judgments, then to dismiss it on the eve of summary judgment?
No reason.
Okay, all right, that's it. Have you been truthful in all of your answers today?
To the best of my ability, of course.
All right. Is there anything else you want to discuss with me?
No, not right now.
Okay, that's funny. That's Randy's final plea. You got anything else you want to tell me?
Yeah, you want to come clean? You want to tell me
come
about
clean
what
about
went on?
something before the judge gets a hold of this? Oh boy, not right. So he said, do you want to read or waive the transcript?
Read it.
So Miss Hunnings, could you please reach out to him right now and tell him how he can read the transcript, and I'm going to order the transcript expedited. Go ahead, Miss Hunnings.
Miss. Oh, okay. Let me get you to my assistant so she can give her the information. Okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Scott. Feel better. Whereupon the deposition concluded at 10:20 a.m. Eastern, and reading and signed by the witness was not waived.
Now, when you look at that is not a lengthy deposition, but the amount of stuff that contains, wow. I mean,
it was only 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, look at all of the revelations in there. I mean, we find out that he was solicited through lawyer.com, and Manskin, that came through with him. I mean, they picked out this guy. They were like, oh, yep, we're going to find him. We're going to do that.
Yeah, look at this. 10 minutes. Oops, my highlighter is black. Hold on. I didn't mean to redact it. All right. So you have 10 minutes, 10:10 to 10:20. That's it.
It's so insane, though. I mean, the whole idea of what's here, again, solicited through lawyer.com. You have Manskin. He makes contact through that. And he says, oh, yeah, I've talked to the client several times too. Mr. Miss, I wonder if he is talking to did he talk to both people? Did he talk to, is that why he's got the Mr. Miss going on? Or did he talk to no? I don't know. I have no idea. But
I think he is most comfortable and used to talking to Mr. Manskin.
yeah.
So I don't think I doubt he talked to Lynette very often, if at all.
But he's telling us that best case scenario, he's telling us, yeah, there's this certain someone here that they're quote unquote helping me with the file. Now you look at those filings, you can 100% tell Bruce wrote those filings. The guy saying, well, the final draft, that's mine. You know, I'm responsible. And that's because he signed it. He puts his name on it. So, you know, slapping his name on there and not being responsible. He's responsible for it no matter what. But I think you get into some, I don't know, some fraud type issues with the court if you were like, yeah, no, I don't have any idea what's there. But I mean, he did. Look at what he says about this. He has no idea how the statute reads. He hasn't read any item pertaining to, say, summary judgment. He hasn't looked at any case law. He doesn't know anything about the photographs that are involved, like where they come from or not. Oh, man. And they're celebrating this as a win. I mean, we have just been... That's the craziest thing about this, Megan, to me. This, again, you have BBB out here celebrating the fact that they delay when we have found out everything we've been talking about. We were told we're all liars for saying this. You know, it's just cheap theatrics. It's all for YouTube content. Everything is, you know, above board. They got this great lawyer on, Scott Stark, Timu Iron Man. You know, he's the greatest thing ever. Man, Timu Iron Man breaks down easy.
He breaks down a lot.
I mean, it does make sense, though. If I did order Iron Man 13, he kind of, you know.
You would expect him to come with cataracts.
Yeah, he probably looked like a fence with metal attached. Or, oh, wait, that's just random. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're celebrating. You're just kicking the can down the road, and it's going to be the same. You're going to run into the same problem in April. I mean, what do you think it's any skin off of any of our back to wait till April? Like,
here's another question. I think this is a legit question. Frankie asks here, where did the money come from that played Stark? You know, we have a person.
$3,000.
Yeah, we have a person that's claiming indigency, right? They're telling the court they have no money whatsoever, but somehow they're paying a down payment, and there are monthly installments that are being made. That's kind of.
I'm sure it will be asked about at the hearing.
Yeah, indeed. Because I mean. Either one, they're lying about the amount of money they have, or two, somebody, part of the anti-what-the-hales ecosystem, is funding vexatious litigation to go after Jeremy Hales.
And she does have funders. It seems like that there were several people that gave her money before. I think she was given around $3,000 to pay Silverman back in the day. And the strange part about that was I was under the impression that $3,000 or whatever it was, I think it was around that, was for him to fight the case.
Yeah.
Not dismiss it immediately.
Yeah.
The second he gets into court, like, did they pay him that full $3,000 to just go into court and give up?
Well, you know, I mean, to be fair with Silverman, when I look at that case, Lord, after you have an appeals court come in and say, yeah, about that judge.
Yeah, I mean, that case was a mess. However, Lynette kept saying that she wanted her evidence put into court. She never got that because Silverman just walked in and dismissed the thing.
Yep.
And was that worth $3,000 or whatever they paid? Seems weird.
It was probably worth the $3,000 not to get hit with sanctions, you know.
Yeah, maybe. Right, because the deal was that Jeremy wouldn't press, go for sanctions, which maybe in retrospect was a mistake because it sure didn't stop her, did it?
Oh, no, not at all.
She got these other lawyers to file more litigation. And boy, some thank you that Jeremy got for letting her off of that one easy.
Well, we've learned that from many people. We learned that in the Hurd case, for example. You know, hey, you get hit with a $10 million fine. The person ends up, with $1 million, it gets paid through insurance. What happens? Do you just go and walk away? Oh no, public attacks to this day. So the lesson there is what Jeremy's doing right now. I think the lesson is
Go for sanctions.
Yes, you protect your name. You go after sanctions. You clearly win a case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what thanks did he get for settling that in her favor, and her dismissing it, and then what? For what? She just turned around and brought another case.
Mm.
It's just, to me, just sucks.
It's wild is what it is. Hey, there was one other thing. Okay, I do not want to forget this. So as far as there's been this outside drama that's been going on. And we talked about yesterday. We talked about ye old paint chips. The person that has been recruited into this madness, that amongst other things has been writing us insane letters. They are absolutely insane.
I am marked safe from his crazy emails today, though. Thank God.
I haven't seen anything so far.
I didn't get any more today.
But, he's marking into ADL. He's claiming anti-Semitism and more. Well, I got interested. I was thinking, this guy, he ran he was convicted of fraud, of extortionate acts. He also apparently ran larceny. There was the whole Facebook election interference. That's a crazy thing. I'll talk about that another day, because that is a whole nother category. Yeah, it's fascinating. But through all of this, I kept thinking, I wonder if he has any Jewish victims.
After all the fuss that he's
like,
put up over Tide Pods and calling the ADL on me for Tide Pods, it's just so absurd.
So I found this thing, and I'm gonna quote. I'm gonna say, instead of saying Jew or Jew, I'm gonna say J, because I'm not gonna be clipped saying certain things like they did to Jeremy.
Right.
So I want to make this clear. So this is out of the New York Post. They're talking about what prosecutors were discussing. So there were private messages that were going back and forth. In those messages, there were a lot of crazy things that were happening. But prosecutors allege that paint chips referenced an anti-Semitic slur he used when speaking to the Board of Elections General Counsel Stephen Richman, saying, I called Stephen Richman I'm going to call it J-rat. You fill in the rest of that. So he called him a J-rat. But passed it off as mispronounced Jurat. So you can see, it kind of got messed up in the pronunciation. And he says, it's not like there is a J-rat right in front of me. So in the prosecution, they bring up this guy who is going after Jeremy heavily. Again, apparently everybody that has a big nose, I guess you're supposed to stereotype. I'm not sure. Anytime you talk about foreskin, I guess that's a stereotype. I'm not sure. But they're making these leaps and assumptions. This guy's writing the ADL. Meanwhile, federal prosecutors get involved. State prosecutors, they get involved. All of these come together, and as part of that, well, here's one right off the bat. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. I think it's pretty interesting. Maybe the ADL should hear about it. I'm just saying. Maybe the ADL needs their own. Maybe they need to be reported on to the ADL. Which is a thing I'm
sure the ADL's just like, yes, man. This convicted extortionist and fraud. He's out here telling us we're going to get right on that.
Yeah, we'll get right on that.
I mean, some of the stuff he wrote us was freaking crazy, though. I mean, well, I mentioned some of that last night. I feel
funny how he has this really outrageous statement, right? That's clearly anti-Semitic, very clearly. It's not like hidden behind Tide Pods somewhere, which makes no sense whatsoever. But he has this very clear anti-Semitic statement out there attached to his name. And he's got the gall to run around calling other people anti-Semitic. That's not
Well,
going to work, Paint Chips.
and these are people that these are his victims in the case. You know, he pleads guilty in these cases, by the way. So, you know, and that's assuming if you look at a scam, we're not even talking about the big ticket item here. The big ticket item would be an international scam that takes in, who knows how much money it takes in. We're talking about, you know, defaulting $559,000, giving up $130,000, but that's, you know, that's not even close. We're talking about something that the prosecutors know could have kicked off an international incident. It's so egregious. You're defrauding. Now, the way that they approach it as deflection, I suppose, is to say it was Chinese companies. No, you're defrauding companies on here, and you're defrauding Chinese companies. So you're defrauding both. Now, you're going to tell me that in these companies you harm, there's not any representation there. Not only that, but if you cause an international incident, aren't you harming all U.S. citizens and really the entire world? So isn't that an affront to every person, period, no matter what ethnicity, just interethnicity, interreligion, whatever? Couldn't he potentially have done something really bad to all of us?
Yeah.
His statements, though, oh, they were something else. I don't know. Are you around for a bit tonight, or we've been 2 hours? I know
Yeah, I'm
going
to have to jump.
Yeah. I'm going to go for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to, you know, I was like, well, you know, if you're going to, you know, we talked about 2 hours. So
yeah,
if
I
you
got to
go
run,
ahead, you're
but
tired.
I am tired. I don't know what is wrong with me, but like I'm falling asleep. I need to just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because
go get you some sleep.
Tired.
And, I don't know. I guess we'll figure out what happens tomorrow. I'm not sure what we're doing tomorrow.
We'll talk tomorrow. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But good night, everybody. Thank you for being here, and thanks for having fun with us. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'll see you later.
See ya.
Yeah. All right, folks. So one thing I wanted to bring in here, though. So in this letter, this is a portion in the claims. Again, this is written to the ADL. This is about. It's talking about Jeremy Hales. It's talking about Megan Fox. It's talking about myself. She's visiting others. We're all included in this. Again, he's referencing my wife in this too. This is wild too. You talk about a crazy thing. So this dude, he finds a name. I mean, you can find the name, right? But he doesn't know the right email address. So he just picks up random email addresses, hoping that they're going to be the right one, and send stuff to them. So you got all these random email addresses that are getting all of this defamatory material sent to them as well. Who knows who these people are? I mean, that's how crazy it is. But there's this wonderful part in here that reads, now listen to this with me. He says, quote, I will forgive your transgressions to this point, but if you persist in your hate, even after a reasoned warning, there will be earthly and spiritual consequences. Earthly consequences. I mean, that's a threat. Straight up. That is a straight up threat. And it continues with this. But I mean, drink that in. Okay. If you've been warned, there will be earthly and there will be spiritual consequences. If you continue to disrespect my Jewish brothers and sisters, then there will be no forgiveness. Okay. I mean, again, this is the guy that put out the statement. Like I said, we were just talking about. He goes on. He blathers on. I'm picking up highlights out of this, you know. So if this statement, if I were reading it, it would have ... here. All right, just to note. Then it goes. But if you smack away this overage, if you continue in your wickedness, I give you fair warning. You will have made an enemy of me, because the poison of wickedness and anti-Semitism must be stemmed at its root. Okay, so he's saying he's gonna quote unquote pluck you because you're the cause of. Again, people can always find a buzzword to attach. You've seen plenty of them. That's their new attack buzzword. Then he says, I can forgive your past mistakes, but I will stand no further wickedness. Huh. Now, again, does that read like a threat to you? Because it very much sounds like a threat. It seems very unstable. Wow, man. Yeah, I take it as a threat. Oh, yeah. When somebody's like, hey, I'll do a Mike Wallace style interview. I can swing by with a film crew. Now, this is a guy that was pleading indigence as well, the court, saying he didn't have anything. So he definitely doesn't have a film crew. But if you look up, there's wonderful headlines. I was actually checking out. Many of these headlines, you should just look up the name. Look up the name. Look up LUTHMANN. And look up convicted. The articles that you will find are wild. They are absolutely wild. And there's some more stuff in there to go over too. And again, the reason I bring that up, and I've thought about this, is because the ecosystem has been pushing these people hard, and they are reaching in the pockets of other people, and they're asking them to give money. Give money to these folks. They've been brought in as, you can see exactly what they're doing. They're not covering a case. They're in here, they latch onto a buzzword, and they just attack. The entry for these folks, what was their entry? Oh, they went after somebody, like right off the bat. They did an interview, and they fundraised off the interview. So they made it perfectly clear what their role is in this. And there's been this minimization. Actually, when we did the discussion about background, Shizzy Wisnut and I talked about that. What was crazy about it is there was all this, oh, well, we're not actually fundraising these folks. We're not promoting that. Actually, who is this other? It's like, yeah, all these names, by the way, on the articles they've been promoting and stuff, these people come as a group. And to pretend that they don't is just, it's awful. And again, it goes back to that lack of transparency. I don't know. I'm just astounded sometimes at some of the insanity. So I got confused by something yesterday. So this was something they threw out, and it threw me off. I'd said the other day that I informed BBB. He sent out one of the articles with these people's names attached to it, right? I looked up the people on there because I was curious about them. I found paint chips. I found his background. So again, I noted, I was like, yeah, here's a few excerpts about this person. All right. So BBB's response was, it was only to him, by the way. He had sent this letter out to God knows who. You had only a couple of people you could see CC'd on it, but you can hide who is attached. You can BCC or blank carbon copy. So he blank carbon copied a bunch of people. Well, I limited my response only to him because, again, I don't want him denying that these people he's brought in, these people he's enabled, that they aren't exactly what that is. So what's his response? It's whataboutism, and he brings them into the conversation right off the bat. Okay. Well, this insanity continues to escalate, and he, outside of this, Paint Chips writes this insane letter. It's absolutely insane. And it was so bad. I was like, you know what? This stuff is being sent, not just to me, but again, the guy attempts to send it. These people have denied, by the way, trying to make contact with families like mine and other folks. So the denial of that, like I said, I bring that up because this is absolutely a clear case of it. You can see that. But again, he sends it out to random emails. I have no idea who a lot of these people are or anything else. He's making all these claims. So I forward this to Jeremy's counsel. And apparently, now I find this out because of paint chips. I didn't realize this. So apparently there was a communication sent to BBB by Randy telling him, yo, you better knock this crap off, magistrate. This is alarming. So what happens immediately? It ends up with old paint chips again. And he writes an even in crazier letter in return. They started going after counsel. I thought that they were saying that the main messages from the other day had been forwarded. No, but that letter, it was nuts. Their responses to send the threats that I read to you, that wasn't just sent, by the way, to me or Matt. That was sent to Randy. Randy, by the way, I'm not sure if you know his background, but yeah, he is, just spoiler, he's Jewish. Not that that should ever matter. But to make these insane claims, nah, I don't know. It's a weird place to be with all of this. But the claims are so crazy. Like they're talking about eugenics. They're talking about I'm going to call him the old mustache man. You know what I'm talking about from old WW2? Yeah, that guy saying, "Oh well, you people are you followers of that?" It's just insanity. And again, it's just being mailed to random people out there. If you want clear cut defamation, that's what these people represent. And it's amazing because I guess that's the typical tactic that you would run into. It's very atypical though when you think about it. Like I've seen some crazy cases. Cases a lot of times they do get crazy. You have outside crazy when you talk about, again, a celebrity case, for example. You're going to run into people that will disagree just because of the other celebrity. You're going to have some craziness come up with that. And when you get into these cases that they're not that kind of celebrity, we're not talking about world renown, but you're still talking about public figures. You're talking about, public figures that are known for other things. You have a different kind of crazy, usually more localized crazy. What you don't usually have, though, is somebody actively recruiting the types that we've seen. But that's what we're looking at there. I don't know. I just thought, like I said, I try to note some of this stuff that comes up, but some of it is so insane. And at the beginning of it, I was like, I don't know if I even want to talk about these weirdos. No oxygen. And I was gonna have a one and done conversation. Just to say, look, this is what is back there. But through informing counsel of what they have brought in, which I am sure, as the other one, they're a tandem. As the other one, he was tagged in the conversation. As he noted out of that tandem, it only took a simple Google search to find this stuff out. Well, I'm assuming that they know exactly who these folks are. Again, all it took was a simple Google search of the name attached to all of this stuff. But again, just for clarification, just to make sure if it comes up in a court that there is no denial whatsoever that BBB was informed. I made it very clear. Actually, give me a second. I'll note my. I think my message kind of. I guess it hit a nerve. Maybe that's what it is. And it's fascinating because, with all the claims here, all the claims of whatever, enter buzzword. Right now, it's been, you go after the elderly, the indigent, the indigent, the disabled. which is fascinating because the person they brought in has done all of those things. But give me 1 minute. I'm looking for this letter part here. Into the beginning. I was trying to see if I had it clipped. Actually, I may have to pull it up. Give me a second. I'm not going to pull it up on the screen, but I'm going to, again, I want to make sure that people understand. You know, it wasn't a screw you kind of message. It was a, hey man, you know, these are some bad people. Like, why are you bringing in these terrible people? And again, his response to that is, take it up with them. You know, his response is pretty much, I know exactly what's going on. You know, it's whataboutism, but I know. So my note was, and I just wrote BBB on this. I was like, hey, Bruce Manskin, your recruitment and push for the financial backing of our Luthman is disturbing, given the man's background, and it's very much a threat, given 1, his history in court documented mental instability, plus fraud, extortion, false accusations, and much more. 2, that you're fundraising, helping Yale Paint Chips fundraise to go after multiple individuals. And 3, his recent unhinged behavior. So I quoted case portions. And again, you know, I'm giving you a sample. These are all quoting a judge. I said, as you're well aware of, he, and this is quoting a judge and the bar, because he's a disbarred lawyer, it's quote. These are all quotes, so I'm not going to say quote anymore. Like, just until I say end quote, I assume all these are quoting a judge. Abused his status as a lawyer and conspired to commit fraud and extortion. Pled guilty to wire fraud conspiracy. Engages in witness tampering. Provided evidence to third parties in violation of a court order. Created fake Facebook accounts and used them to disseminate information. Allegedly tried to pay an exotic dancer to falsely report essay by the Staten Island District Attorney in an effort to disparage him and sway an election. Now, I think that's actually a very important one to bring into that too, because when you're talking about the type of accusations that are thrown around, I mean, again, look at that. That's wild. Yeah. Falsified Facebook and Twitter business records. Now, what that's about, weirdly enough, he was creating fake Facebook accounts, pretending to be elected officials. You know, it wasn't to, it wasn't anything as far as giving opinions. It wasn't parody. He was going in, pretending to be them. And behind the scenes, he was doing things like he was sending, let's say, lewd images of the people involved. There's actually, you know, faked ones. There's a quote from one of the cases. Give me a second. It said in private Facebook messages, you know, what's fascinating when all this stuff came to light, by the way, the private Facebook messages and, you know, him attacking and doing all of this. See, what happened during a campaign, all of these accounts start popping up, and the person that they're aimed at, they end up losing an election. Now, they assumed that these were, you know, dirty tricks played by the opposition, but they had no idea who did this at all until it ends up getting revealed that this guy, Paint Chips, is behind these accounts. And through this process, you end up with private messages and more. So his answer to that is to try to sue, because he says that these are his private communications and that his privacy is being violated. You know? And he to this day says that all of this was some kind of insane conspiracy theory. You know, he wasn't guilty of anything. But in private Facebook messages, exchanges with him and this other an assemblyman, he took images of a person, and he took them and made lewd photoshopped images of them. That was the allegation. So, I mean, you can fill in the blank there. Now, many of these things, I'm not sure if there's record of what they are because of the, the type of thing that they are. Excuse me. I like I could drink, my mouth dry. But I'm not sure if there's any archive of that because, again, the delicate nature of those. There may be. I have not looked them up yet, but I'm still looking. I mean, there's a lot there, though. There also, like I was saying, it's so crazy that when they're investigating, they find another charge, and he's forced to relinquish another $50,000, I suppose. But the stuff that he's convicted of is so crazy that when they find that, it merits one sentence as an entry. Oh, by the way, yeah, there's also this other thing. But the worst thing, we were talking about Scott Stark, and his health issue. Again, if you do buy into the health issues, and it may well be, I mean, it's possible. The parallels there, like I said, is crazy because there was a giant scam. The scam, it involved defrauding the Chinese government, basically the companies there. You're talking about working with the government, defrauding them, sending over scrap metal. But instead of like say I'm contracted to send a load of copper wiring. This happened, by the way. You have a guy go in and inspect it. He thinks everything's okay. They don't load the stuff. The scammers do. And what arrives is a little bit of copper wiring with concrete underneath it. Now, in that, you're defrauding a company, but you're also defrauding the Chinese government and potentially creating an international incident because they don't do this once. They do this multiple times. And that's bad enough, again, that you have the Fed get involved because they're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. But you have that portion. And lost in the mix, you have this insanity that's going on with the Facebook stuff, which was pled guilty to, by the way. That's another thing that's kind of overshadowed by all of this. And outside of that, you have other stuff that was happening. Oh, by the way, there are these other charges too. So it's wild when you look at that. It's wild because, again, these are the people that are fundraising and they've actively brought in to harm reputation and more. I mean, they're making threats. It's kind of wild. And ignoring a person like that, I mean, do you ignore them? I mean, really? Because when they stomp their little feet around, and they put on their big boy smile, Big Fun gets out there and does their thing, they escalate. I mean, they lost their freaking marbles because counsel was told about that. Again, just think about that. Informed. Hey, counsel, I want you to be aware of this. Nope. And that is their background. They've threatened to go out again. They went to the ADL and more just because their background was discussed. How else do you frame that other than intimidation? But anyway, I thought that would be something interesting to talk about at the end of this. So anyway, let's get to the back end of this. Let's get to the supers. Yeah, that's where I was trying to go. And then I kind of got derailed. Oh yeah, I was saying this though. This is the last thing on that. I was saying with Scott Stark, I lost my train of thought for a second. I apologize. With Scott Stark, he seems to be installed as a puppet lawyer. I mean, really? Well, if you have a better descriptor, that's fine. And I struggle with sympathy on that because, again, no one would have sympathy for Jeremy Hales if Jeremy Hales ended up with these people in his pocket. They don't have sympathy for the continued attacks on him that was allowed through the vexatious litigation. So they say that things were contrived. In fact, Stark goes with the talking point that the reason they're going for sanctions, the reason this is going this way, is because they're trying to create YouTube content. But this is a lawsuit they brought. It wasn't brought by Jeremy Hales. This is their lawsuit. So it's utterly preposterous. But let's just say you look at parallels, though. I mean, if he is, and we're talking about a disabled man in that giant scam that I was telling about, one of the ways they shielded it, they wanted to give it a face that people wouldn't question. On the street, somebody ends up getting approached. It's kind of vague about how the connection happens in the charging documents, but you have a guy that's approached on the street. He's given cigarettes and $3. He ends up talking about how he needs to. He's got a guardian ad litem. He accuses the guardian ad litem of abuse, and he says he needs a lawyer. I need help. Now, the person that approached them says, hey, yeah, you know what? I know the perfect person that can help you out. There's this lawyer I know. So they approach the lawyer, but instead of ever getting help with their issue, they end up with all this other stuff. Isn't that crazy? But anyway, so let's get to super chats here. All right. So daily dysfunction. Thanks for the 2. Ridiculously professional. I know we're beyond professional. We're ridiculously professional. Let me actually, I'm gonna have to end right now. I've got an issue. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I'm gonna have to end right this second. Okay. Thank you. I apologize. I'm gonna have to end abruptly. Thank you.